Here I am down the second week of September, and as you can probably hear, the wind is really howling about. It's been a good time to dig over the plots after the onions, and basically it's time for the apples to ripen. I can get some soft fruits in still, the late raspberries, and a lot of digging to be done, and liming, and of course I'm going to have to bring the gypsum down as well, the agricultural gypsum. Now that the turbo onions are finally out, I've dug over the square where they were. It's quite good because they've actually helped to break up the soil, this clay soil. I've added some compost in. It's the old compost from the potatoes. The potatoes are blight free, so basically now it's a question of adding some lime, which I brought with me, and then after that I'm going to put some agricultural grade gypsum on. So this has worked very well, this combination. The turbo onions were much better than the Stuttgarter, so I'm trying squares now on the heavy clay soil. Today's plan is to take some kale, and also, while they're still young, some of these Borlottis, as you can see, there's a nice bunch there, can go into the pot. So it's basically beans with everything at the moment. This square was dwarf green beans, and again you can see incredibly heavy clay soil, and it's going to need more lime and more gypsum. A chap at the allotment has told me that a London clay company that made bricks once came up here and did a wreck here. They did some chemistry on this soil, and even they decided there's, I am not joking, too much clay in this soil even for the bricks they wanted to make. In the end, the clay here on other parts of Nottinghamshire was used by brick making companies, but not specifically in this area. So there you go, that's how much clay there is in the soil. As you can see here, we've got Minipops and the tassels there telling you that they're ripening nicely. Each of these plants seem to be giving us around 4 to 5 Minipops, which is more than I thought you'd get off one of them. And they're all in a line, kept separate from the other ones, which are sweet corn. It's been a bit of an experiment with the Minipops, because these Minipops are planted by seed, as you know. I ordered the seed from Wilco. Planted them quite late as well, and they've done very well. But they've done a good protection job of my kale. The kale here, which was, you know, heavily attacked with insects, has done extremely well here. There's 3 lots of beetroot here, which is Pablo variety. It seems to really like this soil. As you can see, it's sitting nice and pretty here, and then there's another square there of beetroot. This is my little wild patch, which is blackberries, and I transplanted these. And the idea is I'm going to try and train them and cordon them, basically. I've seen people do this in other wall gardens. Mine will be slightly wilder, but I've just started trimming them back now. And that's my Roman chamomile there, and the apples there, Red Discovery on one side, and no, that's the Red Discovery there, and Bramley's there. This patch here is where I've grown my strawberries, as you can see, going all the way along to the bottom there. And the idea is they've produced a lot of runners, so last night, quite late on, I was just chopping the actual connectors between the runners along, and I'm just planting the runners to fill gaps in the soil, and I am feeding them, and I do find they are quite a hungry plant, strawberries, so they do quite well. This is a pear tree, not had any pears off this one, and I shall be removing any signs of pear rust and spraying with bicarb. That's another job. There's more strawberries along there. My French Oolong-gage trees, I'm doing a new experiment. This is where the brown rot starts, and then it comes out as blossom rot, where the bark's breaking up. So I've stuffed all of the places where the bark's broken with garlic cloves, and actually smeared garlic all around the trunks at the bottom here, above the graft. And also every one of these 3 Oolong-gages have had the canopies open right up to take any vertical leaders off, to force it to produce side branches, because I've read it's only really the side branches where you are going to get fruit. They're profuse blossom, these 3 trees, and I've had a few gauge off them, few plums off them, but nothing like what I thought. And this is where I've been attacking by smearing the garlic, and as you can see, that this is where the brown rot sets in. So I'll let you know. I've also rubbed onion on it as well, and the ants don't like that, so that's the idea behind that. Now I'll report back to you next spring, and I'll have to fertilise them spring when all the leaves fall off. whether or not I'm successful in fighting the blossom rot. Always nice to look forward to some raspberries. In this second week of September, in the sunshine, the brief hours of sunshine, this is a nice set of raspberries which I should be picking. They've been a nice heavy crop, this plant, starting off from just one cane, and it's managed to spread itself over, and there's another lot of raspberries there, so I've got to remember to pick them tonight. My other half's favourite soft fruit is white currant. Got this on a special. Garden Centre was literally chucking these out for a couple of quid. I think it was £2.99 actually, and they are I think they might be white Versailles, and basically I've got another 2 or 3 of them on the other plot, and I'll be able to take some cuttings from these in a few years time. I really do hope these work out, because the red currants grow extremely well, but I've not grown white currants before yet here. I love growing these passion flowers, and they are at their best now in what's coming up to the second week in September. And there's such an just love the look of them. They're such a beautiful flower, aren't they? And of course, any late pollinators around, which would be handy for things like my Borlottis and any late strawberries, woodland strawberries and things like that. These should hopefully attract some pollinators to the site. The leek, Musselburgh and another variety I've got in are doing okay here, and they're not fantastic. You know, as you can see, they are being attacked, but I keep feeding them because I know they're a hungry crop. And behind them you've got the purple sprouting broccoli there, and of course the chard. And this is where I'm collecting my stringies from at the moment. They've done very well this year, and I grew a better variety, because I had a variety last year which was very vigorous but very stringy, and this variety here is much less stringy. The Beurre Hardy, Doyen de Camise and Croix de Chrétien, they have all been picked. So these are the last ones, the conference. I've got a couple of these trees, but this is the only one that's really cropped this year. A little bit of pear rust on there, so that'll want treating. You can use bicarbonate and a bit of boric acid and detergent on that, but you need to pick the leaves off and basically get rid of them. They want to be binned. You don't want to keep the leaves anywhere near the tree. So despite the pear rust, which as you can see is attacking at the back there, still a decent crop. In order to encourage the pollinators, because you still need your pollinators for late crops, I've even got some woodland strawberries and some other strawberries which are a basket type of strawberry that are still producing now, even in September. But you need pollinators, so I put some wild flowers in that'll still be in flower, and you can see there's another set of wild flowers here to attract pollinators, because you do need them for your soft fruits. Really lovely to go around and see the colours of the apples as they're ripening in the sun, and basically I'm constantly impressed by how such a beautiful thing can come on a dwarf rootstock. They're very large crop apples, and basically I've had to support this tree, as you can see, with canes, and it's going to hopefully produce a decent crop. Very tasty looking apple, isn't it? It's good to have lots of different varieties of dwarf rootstock apples, and that way, even if some of them are less successful, you've got much more of a chance of having something that you're going to enjoy come October or late September, whenever these will be ready. So tonight's pickings, I've got a beetroot, a Pablo, there's some Minipops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Minipops, Borlottis. I've tended to got the ones, if you get them very, very young, like these ones here for instance, you can have them very tender and very young, or you can wait until a bit more mature if you like, as you can see. And also some kale, because I picked some of the conferences. Very windy of late, so basically they're probably going to fall down anyway. On the left hand side here you can see I've removed as much pear rust as I can, every leaf I can, and then I'll spray the rest of the tree. It's been a real bane, pear rust, but you can't let it go because the immune system won't fight it, so I had to pick these conferences. They seemed ready anyway, some of them fell off even when I was picking the pear rust off. Well, there's the raspberries looking delicious as usual. And so that should be about it for tonight then. Just tidying up a little bit there, maybe another beetroot or two, and job done for today then. So plenty of digging to look forward to, and hopefully some more Borlottis on the way from this lot down here.